The power struggle between the various factions of the Chinese Communist Party has become increasingly fierce. After the Beidaihe conference, there have been rumors about whether Wang Yang would replace Xi Jinping as the next top leader of the CCP. On September 6, Xi appointed 5 generals, which was quite strange. On September 14th, a mainland website published an article exposing a plot by a gang of high-ranking police officials to assassinate a top CCP official. Analysts deduced that the target of the assassination was Xi Jinping. On September 16th, the CCP's official magazine, Qiushi, published a long article stating that the party commands the gun, is the foundation of the People's Liberation Army and the soul of it. Then, the website of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, or CCDI, published an article on September 19th, saying that there is no Iron Hat Prince who cannot be punished in the anti-corruption campaign. The CCP has always been opaque about its operations. In China, speech is strictly censored, and the media are all controlled by the government. This makes it difficult to interpret the political situations in China and conceals the power struggle between top officials of the CCP. To interpret China's political news, it is important to put it in the context of a specific historical process and to link multiple events to make a comprehensive analysis. Then can we understand the true meaning behind them. On September 16th, Qiushi published an article emphasizing the party commands the gun, which is very strange. Before the anniversary of the founding of the PLA on July 31st, Qiushi had published an article signed by Xi Jinping, emphasizing the principle of the party commands the gun, which means the party has absolute leadership over the army. On September 10th, People's Liberation Army Daily emphasized this point. Then, just a few days later, Qiushi magazine repeated. Could it be that the party cannot command the gun anymore? The article mentioned only a couple of names, including Mao Zedong, Xi Jinping, Zhang Guotao, and Lin Biao. It says that Zhang Guotao attempted to command the party with the gun and openly fought for power from the party, and says Lin Biao planned an armed coup. So what is the party journal trying to hint at? Is there someone in the army who wants to rebel? On September 6, Xi Jinping promoted 5 general officers, namely Wang Haijiang, commander of the Western Theater, Lin Xiangyang, commander of the Central Theater, Dong Jun, commander of the Navy, Chang Dingqiu, commander of the Air Force, and Xu Xueqiang, president of the National Defense University. This is the first time that the new positions of the 5 people were publicly disclosed. It's worth noting that Wang Haijiang's appointment as the commander of the Western Theater, the largest theater, is the 4th change of commander in 9 months, which is quite unusual. Wang Haijiang's predecessor, General Xu Qilin, held the post for only 2 months, and his predecessor only held the position for 6 months. In addition, because the Central Theater determines Beijing's safety, the replacement of commanders is also of great concern. The former commander of the theater, Yi Xiaoguang, who is 63 years old, stepped down 2 years earlier for unknown reasons. No official announcement has been made about his new position. He was one of the key figures who contributed to Xi Jinping's de facto control of power. After the 19th National Congress of the CCP in 2017, Xi Jinping appointed his confidant Yi Xiaoguang as the commander of the Central Theater. Yi moved nearly 400,000 field warfare elites into Beijing and took over Beijing's city defense. The top officials of the CCP and the central government were placed under the military's watch. This strategic move had ensured Xi Jinping's power base. The political patriarchs, retired members of the Standing Committee, and current Politburo members can only bow down. During the 2019 National Day Military Parade, Yi Xiaoguang made a splash as the parade's commander-in-chief, leading the Air Force formation at the forefront. Lin Xiangyang, the newly appointed commander of the Central Theater, has served in the 31st Group Army in Fujian for a long time and served as a deputy commander. Xi Jinping had worked in Fujian for 17 years, so the 31st Army has a deep connection with Xi and is known as Xi's protection army. The control of the PLA has always been Xi's weak point. Before Xi came to power, former vice chairman of the military commission, Xu Caihou, told others in a semi-public event that he would let Xi work for a few years and then let Xi go. Since Xi Jinping became the top leader of the CCP in 2012, he has been cracking down on corrupt generals of the Jiang Zemin faction in the army and achieved major results. As of 2019, 73 senior officers at or above the vice commander level had been investigated and punished, including 7 generals, 9 lieutenant generals, and 55 major generals. Some time ago, the PLA made a statement indicating its unwillingness to bear the consequences for the wolf warrior diplomacy. Behind Xi Jinping and the party media's repeated emphasis on the party commands the gun, it shows some officers in the PLA are secretly opposing Xi Jinping. The PLA usually plays a vital role in the power struggle. For example, the former chairman of the military commission, Deng Xiaoping, forced CCP's top leaders Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang to step down. And in 2012, before the fall of Bo Xilai, the former Chongqing Municipal Party secretary, he plotted to lead 2 army groups to a revolt. On September 19th, the website of the CCDI published an article with rich political connotations. The article claims that there is no Iron Hat Prince who cannot be punished in the anti-corruption campaign. Iron Hat Prince refers to the hereditary princes of the Qing dynasty. There were 12 princes in total. Their descendants inherited the Iron Hat Prince title without demotion, while other titles were typically demoted when they were inherited. Iron Hat Prince is a special privilege. Only royal family members who've made countless contributions to the establishment of the dynasty were recognized. Therefore, saying no Iron Hat Prince who cannot be punished in the anti-corruption campaign actually means no one can escape from Xi Jinping's crackdown, no matter how pure your bloodline is or how high a position you once had. In 2015, the People's Daily first mentioned that there is no Iron Hat Prince in the fight against corruption, and then the CCDI website mentioned the naked prince of the Qing dynasty, referring to the same thing. Prince Qing Yi Kuang was the last Iron Hat Prince of the Qing dynasty, and was also a famous corrupter of the late Qing dynasty. Because of the word Qing and his royal background, it is generally implied that the Iron Hat Prince refers to Zeng Qinghong, a representative of the CCP's princelings. Zeng is also a hardcore political ally of Jiang Zemin's faction. Since then, the Iron Hat Prince in the Chinese context refers to the Jiang Zemin and Zeng Qinghong families. The CCDI once again mentioned no Iron Hat Prince, coupled with the mention of Lin Biao's coup and the high-frequency posts from PLA newspapers and party magazines to emphasize the party commands the gun. The connotation is definitely not ordinary. Now let's talk about the coup d'etat. This is also related to the Zeng Qinghong family. On September 14th, mainland website NetEase published an article titled Iron Fist to Those Who Make Profits and Wisdom Faint. The article was signed by Shangxian Laohou and was subsequently deleted. The author quoted from the government's internal morning meeting circular, which mentioned the problem of the judicial gang in Jiangsu, headed by Luo Wenjin, the former chief of the criminal police headquarters of the Jiangsu Provincial Public Security Bureau. The article revealed that Luo Wenjin formed an illegal gang with his hometown friends, former Chongqing Public Security Bureau Chief Deng Huilin and Lai Xiaomin, former chairman of the China Huarong Asset Management Company. Not only did they commit crimes and make a filthy fortune, but Luo and Deng also deliberated on the major policies of the central government and insulted key leaders of the country. They even planned an assassination for when he holds a commemorative event in Nanjing. The article does not mention who the leader is, but we can deduct from a simple check that it is Xi Jinping. There is only one commemorative event that key leaders may attend in Nanjing. It is the annual National Public Ceremony to commemorate the Nanjing Massacre, which is held on December 13th. This public ceremony has been held 7 times since 2014. In 5 of them, the highest-ranking official present was the vice chairman of the National People's Congress, none of whom is considered a key leader of the country. But in 2014 and 2017, Xi Jinping attended the ceremony in person. In 2017, Luo Wenjin was the chief of the criminal police force of the Jiangsu Provincial Public Security Bureau, and the first person responsible for site security at the Nanjing public ceremony. But this brings up a question. Planning the assassination of Xi Jinping will not bring any direct benefits to Luo Wenjin, but rather would be extremely risky. Therefore, he could only be an executor. The only benefit he can get is if the assassination is successful, someone can give him high status and wealth that he cannot get under normal circumstances. The article disclosed that Luo Wenjin's accomplices were Deng Guolin and Lai Xiaomin. Lai Xiaomin, who took bribes of up to 1.78 billion yuan, was investigated in April 2018 and was sentenced to death on January 5th this year and executed on January 29th. However, in terms of status level, Lai Xiaomin was not higher than Luo and Deng. Lai served as the party secretary and president of Huarong Assets Management back then. With regards to power, Lai is far inferior to Deng and Luo. So why is Lai able to instruct these two people to risk their own lives and the future of the whole family just to assassinate Xi Jinping? The only reasonable explanation is that there are bigger figures behind Lai. Lai Xiaomin is a key member of the Jiang faction, which is headed by Zeng Qinghong. When Lai was promoted to take charge of Huarong, he was recommended by Zeng Qinghong's confidant and the first chairman of the China Banking Regulatory Commission, Liu Mingkang. The entire process of Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign can be said to be the process of taking power from the Jiang-Zeng faction. This life-and-death struggle is still ongoing. In the commercial area, Xi Jinping's struggle with the Jiang-Zeng faction has also been ongoing. Ant Group's IPO was called off. Didi Travel's app was removed just after its IPO. Alibaba was fined and rectified. All of these companies have the Jiang-Zeng families behind them. Zhao Wei, a mainland movie star, was suddenly banned by the mainland media. Zhao Wei's husband, Huang Youlong, is the nephew of Jiang Zemin's mistress, Huang Liman. And Zhao Wei's other backer is Zeng Xinhuai, Zeng Qinghong's younger brother. In recent months, the Beijing authorities have introduced a series of policies to regulate the real estate market. These include apartments not being allowed to increase or decrease in prices, restrictions on pre-owned apartment transactions, and restrictions on loans and financing for real estate companies. Then Evergrande, the big real estate giant, was knocked down, which is also backed by the Jiang-Zeng families. In November this year, the CCP will hold its 6th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee, focusing on the next leadership candidates. Whether or not Xi Jinping will succeed in his re-election at next year's 20th National Congress will depend on the outcome of his power struggle with the Jiang-Zeng faction. Therefore, in the coming period, the top-level internal power struggle within the CCP will be even more exciting.